Yeehaw, soldiers! It's your boy, the Anime Sage, coming to another video, and this is essentially my first impressions on Jujutsu Kaisen, or essentially Chapter 1 review, because you usually get your first impressions on characters, and, with the introduction of the, first chapter. So I'm going to, do a bit of a review here on Chapter 1 of Jujutsu Kaisen as I go into a reading, this manga, and, it kind of has caught my intrigue a little bit, so, yeah, that should be fun. Alright, so first off, let's go into a bit of what Jujutsu Kaisen is, essentially another shonen manga that I think is a very, pretty good shonen manga, in my humble opinion. Also, I highly suggest that you, read the manga yourself. This is a bit of a quick spoiler warning for you, so yeah, read the manga yourself, read chapter 1 yourself, read this entire manga yourself, because no excuse to, not read the manga yourself after getting a review of it, so just read it, okay? Read it. I'm being very clear. Read it. This is a review, and I'm going to go into very heavy detail because if I want to review something, I'm gonna have to go into detail and go over where people might have some themes for it, So yeah, read the chapter yourself. Anyways, so with the manga, we start off around page 3 after getting a little bit of a, precursor to it with Megumi looking for a cursed item, which is interesting. Megumi being our Deuter antagonist, and then we go into the actual start of the manga at page 3. So we introduce ourselves to our main protagonist, Yuji Itadori, and then we got characters in Sasaki, and of course this guy named Iguchi. Okay, so what we see going on for the next couple chapters is that they're part of a cult club, or essentially using Ouija boards, which for supernatural type stuff. And as someone who is very interested in supernatural type stuff, this might be the type of manga for me. So yeah. Right, so we kind of had interaction with their plankton president, who they call, one of the high presidents of the class president of the entire school, and yeah. So, I guess he has a bit of a problem with the occult club, and apparently Yuji can't be in there because the athletic director wants Yuji because he's very talented in terms of athletics. So, yeah. And then as we go into the manga, we see our friend Megumi, who I'll get to more on as I get for this review. We get introduced to a cursed monster or beast that appears over the schoolyard. And it kind of goes over where we're going with this manga, because obviously cursed monsters should not be there in a high school setting, And apparently he's trying to look for a very high grade cursed charm. So yeah, and apparently, as you can probably guess based off of how stuff goes, Megumi is probably going to be looking for a guy Yuji. Anyways, in Yuji's case, he's able to use his natural talent to essentially destroy part of the metal of a net, which is pretty crazy. So yeah, and that's not off of some type of magic. Apparently, the guy Megumi ends up saying it's actual natural talent at the end of the part of the manga. It's not magical power, but his own power, which is crazy. So yeah. Now, Yuji later on visits his grandfather, who is wanting to tell him something about his parents. He wants to tell him something about his parents, but, Yuji doesn't want to hear that. So, a little bit of a conversation goes on about flowers, saving money, and stuff like that. And then we go into his last couple words, which is, "You're strong, so help people. It's fine if all you do is reach out a hand, just help people whenever you can. Even if you're lost, even if they're ungrateful, help them anyways. Die being surrounded by a crowd, don't become like me." And essentially, what you might see here is that what a grandfather's final wish is that Yuji kind of dies a life where he doesn't die like he's doing, which is die alone with his, only grandson, while his other parents are kind of gone at the moment, So his grandfather ends up dying, and then we're finally introduced to Megumi Fushiguro, who is actually from the sorcery school looking for that charm. And he further explains that the concept of curses and the attraction of charm. So in Japan, we go into a bit of an explanation. The number of people who die mysteriously or go missing is on average over 10,000 a year. And as of right now, you have a bit of a, this is because of the fact that there's negative feelings that pour out of humans with terms of cursed charms, and Megumi ends up going around saying, when in particular places a lot of people hold memories of like schools and hospitals, and where the curse easily drifts to. So when you have memories of like school and hospitals are definitely something that people probably would feel a lot of dread and negative emotions from, because, well, it's a hospital. People die there. And because of that hardship, regret, and shame that comes from those memories, the curse is attracted to those people, and they kinda want to do stuff, you know. So, yeah. So Megumi will end up explaining that a cursed charm talisman that's a school has already kind of attracted the curse, which we saw earlier, and usually he also makes explanation of placing a more evil cursed charm will repel the weaker counterparts, which you're essentially trying to control poison with poison, as he states later in the chapter. And then, so month by month, so with this charm, apparently month by month, the seal had gotten weaker and weaker and weaker until it's kind of in a bad position. So, yeah. So, if Yuji's like, okay, I'll give you the seal, the thing, and then what has happened is he kinda gave it to his senpais or upperclassmen or his friends. So, yeah, that's not good. So, as you can guess, since the seal is kind of eroding over time, usually it would probably prove to be very fruitless for normal human beings to take the curse off. However, because of the fact that the seal is eroded over time, yeah, not good. So, yes, they're able to remove the seal, and here come the curses. And if you look into one of the further chapters, you can see that the bit of detail here where Yuji sees the pressure and can feel it. And of course, my boy Megumi's like, stay here. You're not going to be that useful. And then we kind of see the effect of curses that are laid upon as the type of curses, like the walking ones, or ones that kind of take over your head, like this little monster thing did with Iguchi. So, yikes. And then we get introduced to some of the magic sorcery that's used by Megumi, which is called Jade Hounds, which kind of eats up those monsters. And then, as we go later into the chapter, we see Yuji look into, well, I bet this premonition of death. He's at that point scared of death, and he wants to fulfill one of his grandfather's last wishes, which is help people, you're strong. So he ends up, you guessed it, in shonen fashion, going out helping people. And as we can see, Sasaki the girl and Iguchi are kind of in a bad spot, and it's trying to, and right now those that little monster thing that's kind of taking over them, it's kind of planning to take that cursed charm. And then we go into blank text about him being stubborn, short-tempered, kind of replaying the conversation from the hospital, don't become like him. And then Yuji goes in and is able to actually hit the curse, and is able to save both of his friends. And at that point in time, with Megumi kind of handles up the rest of the business, and yeah, that it seems that they're safe with Sasaki and company kind of knocked out a little bit, because yeah, I would be too. But then we kind of get the presence of more curses, because with the finger, it's as a double-faced specter. Since the high-grade curse charm is known as a double-faced specter, or a bit of a piece of it, yeah, there are probably going to be more curses that are going to come over since it's unsealed. So, yeah. And by the time, Megumi can't really use his spell because he kind of gets smacked into a wall, and then, he's not in a good position. So, Yuji, is trying to save Megumi himself, because again, he's strong, so help people, and he wants to at least, make sure that people stay alive, because if he lets people go and not fulfill his grandfather's wishes, he's gonna really regret that, and that's not something that he wants to do. Again, he's strong, so he has to help people. It's like it's a kind of repeating and recurring theme. If you have the ability to help people, you should help people. That's kind of being repeated into this theme. But unfortunately, Yuji can't really send him to the curse even with his unnatural human strength. Which, yeah, he's not in a good position either. So at the end, since he doesn't really have magical powers, there aren't many ways he can get out of the situation, except, well, after he realizes that if the curse eats it, he'll gain more magical powers. So he figures that the way to save everyone is to essentially eat the finger. And there are literally only two scenarios that come from eating a finger, which is either he dies, or in a 1 in 10,000 chance, he kind of gets possessed in a way. However, it appears that the curse charm that is trying to possess him is not actually in full control, because Yuji can actually control himself. He can actually fight off the curse, which kind of ends up shocking Megumi, and it also even shocks the curse. So yeah, and at the end of the chapter, we kind of see, by rule of magic and by the rule of the sorcery school, since Yuji is now a curse, he's supposed to exorcise him. Yeah, and that is probably the end of a very interesting, eventful chapter. Now, looking at what we see from this chapter, we kind of see very interesting themes that come along. Such as the theme I said repeatedly, that if you're strong, you should have the capabilities of helping people. And then 2, you should at least die with people around you, with the people closest to you around you. What happened with Yuji's grandfather dying, he never really had all of his people around him. He never had the people that he cared about the most around him. He only had his grandson, who probably had a bit of a cared about him, but it's not like dying within a crowd. He doesn't want, and you can tell that probably in that chapter that his grandfather definitely really cared about him at the end of the day. Even if he's like stubborn and all and stuff like that, he still really cares about his grandson. You also have themes of you also have a couple of interesting things coming on with having the being possessed by a demon thing, which kind of has happened within a lot of shonens. There definitely was going to be a cost to the curse, but with the fact that he can actually control this a little bit better, it seems like he's very, good at. It seems like he's in a better position than a lot of other people would be if they, ate the curse charm. But to me, the fear that comes in as I probably go into more Jujutsu Kaisen, that there's something special about Yuji, even if he has this unnatural human strength, because that grandfather definitely knew something about his parents, and I'm very, very curious on how how that kind of revelation goes, because that type of strength is very unnatural. I don't think you can think of many strength feats like that, or the ability to control a demon like that, or I guess, and yeah, it's pretty crazy that he can do that type of stuff. The curse charm, the fact he's able to essentially control a demon and control his body and not allowed to take over him is just crazy. And the demon has some very interesting powers at the moment. You see him destroy the a curse monster himself, and he just has this weird monster type gaze, which of course he should, because yeah. And I'm pretty interested in looking at the origins of this curse charm, but this charm seems to have a bit of intrigue, Now, there probably should be a bit of a there is a massive cost here. There probably should be down the line, because honestly, I don't think this curse charm and Yuji are going to be friends at the end of the day. So it's going to be interesting as I keep going down this manga on how good it is at the end of the day. So, And I also would like to look into, like, camaraderie, because as another theme that comes into mind in this manga, because it is a kind of more of a shonen theme and stuff like that, but you do have to, like, admire that Yuji wanted to, like, stay with people that he found were very, he was cool with, and he was friends with, and he cared about, versus in the cult club when he's extremely talented. Like him, with the type of physical talent that he has, he could probably play any sport and just excel at it. But he just chooses to be at the occult club, which it's pretty good for him. If it makes him happy, it makes him happy, And like we reveal, and like going into it, like we see Yuji explain himself on why he does it. If he's not there, he can't. The senpais can't visit the haunted spirit spot. Again, senpai is a upperclassman type of stuff, and he is pretty okay with just letting himself stay, even though he's pretty talented, and he really likes the occult club, and that's just something you gotta admire. And they also have fear of death, which is another theme, because grandfather probably feared the last days of his life, though he probably accepted it. And then you have him, and then you have Yuji himself being scared of dying in that situation, which is probably a theme that obviously it's going to happen in like shonen mangas, because no one wants to die. I don't think anyone wants to die, or actually any manga in general, or like any piece of literature, because who wants to die at the end of the day, So yeah, these curses are also pretty interesting. They have like a very unique, a good design to them. I also like how the art is, illustrated well. I mean, it's not like Horikoshi or Taitaku, but I do like the art. The Jade Hounds are pretty well designed. With like the black and white aesthetics with the hounds. And though I wonder if they're gonna have like a bit of a color up in the anime. And I'm gonna be pretty interested in seeing like how this all goes in the future. I already have seen Yuji's design and like colorized. I'm gonna be very interested to see this manga, animated in October, which I'm gonna be the first one to catch that wave, honestly. And I feel like this manga could pop off a lot, in my opinion, based off of the hype going around it. Like, I've seen people hype Jujutsu Kaisen up on Twitter, and if that thing gets a good animation studio based off of the hype around it, it's gonna increase to infinity. And yeah. And you just kind of want to learn about stuff like, but the manga also puts in a lot of entries to like, what's the sorcery school? What's the center for like exercising a curse? Which probably could mean that he probably is gonna kill Yuji, but who knows? And what's more about Yuji's past? What more can we learn about it? Why can he like control his curse? And it's so interesting, in my opinion. It maybe have some typical shonen elements, but this is a very unique shonen, in my opinion, because it has some good elements to it, and I'm pretty intrigued by it. Now, who knows about whether or not Yuji's gonna have who knows whether or not you can have love interest. You can debate all that all you want. I don't really care. But the fact that this dude was Yuji is, I think, I do want to go into the fact that I think Yuji's kind of a goat. This dude pretty much has care for his friends. He literally was like, I'm about to eat a finger to stop a curse. My boy Yuji is kind of crazy. There are a few things I would not want to do in life, and eating a finger is one of them. But I mean, it's like a cursed charm finger, and it's not like it's, I guess, a real human finger, but still, I feel like eating a charm or something like that, that's one of the last things I wouldn't do. So I think Yuji's kind of a goat for that. And I really think that his kind of puts some groundwork for him to be a very interesting character. I feel like Megumi has put in some intrigue as a Deuter antagonist, because you do want to learn some stuff about him, but he obviously seems very committed to his job as someone who wants to stop, demons or curses, I gotta stop saying demons, curses, and, make sure that he does his job correctly. And I would probably love to see and look into more of his past and his motivations, which I'm going to be very interested in. And I'm going to be very interested in the actual curse that is trying to possess yuji, which I actually have a bit of a inkling on what that is. I kind of have read a couple chapters ahead, but I'm more so again reading from perspective of a guy who has gone for like the first chapter and is blind reading it for the first time, But oh my god, this manga I think is very interesting. I really like it a lot, and I really like what is portrayed here. I like the art style; it's really good. I cannot wait to see this thing animated in October, and I'm pretty hyped. I mean, imagine making like what if Naruto or something like that, like eat a cursed charm or something like that, or like that'd be nuts. Oh my god, I'm gonna be pretty interested. I'm gonna be really interested in this manga moving forward. And I guess that's probably about it for... Oh, actually, there's one more thing I want to get to. And I think I want to keep moving into more review content in the future. Because I did make a Black Clover review, and now I'm going to be probably making a One Piece review. And this time it's going to focus on the first chapter. And then after that, I can go into the first arc. And then first actual arc. And then after that, more arcs in the future. So, yeah, I think that's going to be something that's going to be, interesting for... me to go through, and I'm really liking some of these some of the mangas I've been reading. I think after that I'll be looking into like stuff like Tokyo Ghoul, Fairy Tail, because Ian Zero is coming out pretty soon, and of course a little manga called oof, you guys might have heard of this manga. You guys might have heard of this manga. I think you might know it from my guy Anime X. So it's a little known manga called Record of Ragnarok. So yeah, that should be pretty fun to read. But oh my god, I'm gonna be really interested. Oh man, but based off like the concept of Record of Ragnarok, I'm gonna be very interested, because if I'm hearing like stuff like hearing stuff like demigod and stuff like that, oh yes, I'm very interested. So yeah. But thank you all for watching this review. Let me know what you think. I wanted to make myself a little bit more structured, but I had to be a little bit more quieter because I was a little I'm kind of recording this like around 4 a.m. and I don't want to wake people up, so that's kind of why I'm a little bit quieter today. So that's probably about it for me though. This has been make sure to follow me on Twitter at AnimeStage4, Instagram anime_stage4, and join my Discord. Get ready for half of She Half sent you Naruto or tonight, and later tonight, and then watch Game Tap Like a Hawk, usual stuff. And let me know if you want me to review anything else, look into like the actual if you want me to look into some more mangas you want me to review. And I guess it's been your boy, the Anime Sage, sign out. Peace, Yorta. Stephanie Shea closes out. Bye bye. Peace.
Hi, this is Stephanie Shea, voice actress for Sailor Moon, Hinata, Orihime, and you are watching Anime Sage.